Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Let's get after it.
Okay, I don't know if my phone will pick this up or not, but I've been outside for like 15 minutes, and the thunder sounds bizarre. What is that? I'm a 7th generation Floridian, and I have never heard thunder like that. What is that?
I tell you, this makes me think about that video we saw from Dubai a couple months back where that guy was filming a thunderstorm out on his balcony and got that UFO flying past while these weird noises and stuff are being recorded. She might have been recording alien craft flying around overhead during these thunderstorms.
Hi guys, just a quick video. Somebody's just quite rightly asked me a question, one of the people who follows me. She said that when her husband was taken into hospital, she was asked to sign a respect letter. Now, please, for God's sake, be careful. You know, NHS's respect means can we kill? Okay, do not sign any respect letters. Don't sign any letters. I know I've said it in about 10 videos. I'm saying it again because some people don't watch all the videos. Do not sign any documents. Do not sign respect letters. Do not sign DNAR. Do not sign anything. When they ask you to sign something, if you haven't got anybody there to look after you, make sure you take pictures, send them to people who know you, say, can you please read it, come back to me. Ask the doctors to leave papers on the table. I guarantee you they won't leave them on the table because they don't want anybody else looking. They're sneaky people. NHS trusts are sneaky people, and they don't like to leave papers there on the table for anybody to scrutinize. They just like to turn up on the spot and say sign, sign, sign. So for God's sake, do not sign any respect things. And somebody quite rightly pointed out another point which I wasn't thinking is by killing off elderly folk, what you're doing is doing away not just with the healthcare cost for the future, you're doing away with pensions, and that saves government millions. And that's what these crook politicians have been planning, that look, if we, let's just say, kill off 20% of the UK public, that'll be 20% saving across the board on pensions, 20% across ancillary services, 20% across NHS costs. This is how this crook government operates. So please, God's sake, do not sign any documents. Any documents you have to sign, say, look, what's the rush? Let me pass them to my family. No family, then my friend, but send it to somebody. Don't you sign it unless someone reads it. Please acknowledge you understand that. No matter how much the pressure is, no matter how much they say that we won't operate on you, we won't do this, we won't do that unless you sign. The answer is, no, that's fine, that's fine. You need it in the next 2 hours. Let me take pictures of it. I will ask my daughter, my son, my cousin, my brother. He will read from the photos of the pictures, and then I will sign it in the next 2 hours or 3 hours, and then make them delayed. Don't sign things. Don't sign. All they do is cover their own arses by writing that we will do XYZ surgical on you, and should it go wrong, we're not responsible. I mean, these are pathetic doctors, would you believe? Pathetic doctors. It's a bit like a car mechanic saying, look, I'll fix this, but I reckon it's going to go wrong. I mean, how pathetic. Anyway, I've lost all respect for these stupid doctors, honestly. They are pathetic.
Yeah, you want to be careful anytime you're signing a contract, especially if you're in a hospital and your life's on the line. Make sure you read everything you sign before you sign it. The weird thing is I don't remember anyone talking about this sort of stuff before the pandemic. It seems like the trust in the medical community has hit an all-time low, the same way that trust in all these government organizations and stuff has hit an all-time low.
All these creators got banned on the same day. Something's about to happen, and they don't want people with big followings spreading the news or misinformation. It's not a coincidence all these truthers, over 100,000 followers, got banned on the same day.
Yeah, I'm one of those creators that lost his account yesterday. And I guess it's just a coincidence that yesterday, the Supreme Court allows White House to press social media companies to remove disinformation. At the same time this is happening, the Federal Reserve was hacked, apparently, and 33 terabytes of data was breached. Again, 33, that is the signal. And by the way, the last video I made on my main account that got hit for community guideline violations was talking about this news article. And something else I find extremely odd, I made a video today with the hashtag, this right here, I don't want to say it, so this video doesn't get taken down, and the hashtag was removed. And if you type that word into the search bar on TikTok, you will have this come up. So it's almost like TikTok is trying to suppress this. So are they trying to prepare for something coming? We have a lot of distractions. The debate tonight. We have 4th of July next week. Yeah, I don't know. But hey, I'm just some crazy conspiracy theorist pushing misinformation, whatever. It is what it is, guys. But we keep our eyes focused upon Jesus. He's the author and the perfecter of our faith. He will discern everything going on right now. Just focus upon him, allow him to guide you, and rest in him, because the enemy is trying to cause division, trying to cause anger and frustration. Do not allow it. Love you all so much. God bless, and remember, the just shall live by faith.
So I'm not sure if this is related to this, but it's suspicious timing. I noticed this morning while I was looking around for clips and stuff that a lot of the channels that I follow and pull clips from are no longer on TikTok. It's like a lot of them just quit posting overnight. It definitely feels like there's an organized effort to keep certain topics from being talked about on TikTok. What seems so off color is that the government is actively trying to ban TikTok, yet now TikTok is assisting the government in pushing their propaganda and pushing their narrative by removing certain types of content.
You've heard of American Ice Age animals like the saber-toothed cat and the woolly mammoth. But have you heard of the ones from Australia? You know wombats? There used to be ones 70 times their size, weighing in at up to 6,000 pounds. They were the largest marsupials to ever exist, that we know of. But that didn't stop them from being on the menu, because there used to be giant monitor lizards too, that could get up to 23 feet long. They were probably venomous like their living relatives, using it to take down prey like pygmy elephants and giant kangaroos. Giant kangaroos? Yeah, the short-faced kangaroo. They were about the same height as a large red kangaroo, but more than twice as heavy. And they had a single toe on each foot. And they had another predator, the marsupial lion, like a big cat with a pouch. They had retractable claws like a cat, a tail like a kangaroo, and a bite force stronger than a lion. They had some pretty weird teeth, like a carnivorous rodent.
So this was a video that was presented to me by one of our Australian viewers from over in the Discord server. I just found it really fascinating that there's all these extinct, really violent, dangerous looking predators that all came out of Australia. And I've never heard of any of them. Hey, if you're enjoying this video and you like this kind of content, I make a new one just like it every day, Monday through Friday. It'd be awesome if you'd hit that subscribe button and come back tomorrow to join me.
The crazy thing about Australia, my friend Adam Greentree, he was here the other day explaining to us the number of different languages they have. A lot of them aren't even written down. And that these tribes, called the mobs of Aborigines, that a mob will be 30 kilometers or 300 kilometers away from another mob, and they speak a totally different language. And they don't even know what it is. Like, they can't communicate with each other. They said there's hundreds of them, hundreds of different languages. And they've been around for a long fucking time, man. They've been in that place for a long time. And they find like ancient artwork on walls of caves and shit and sides of cliffs. It's like, he's found a bunch of like ancient Aborigine art because it's so wild. You just like, you're looking at this thing like, how old is this? Like, no one even knows. Wow. Yeah.
So this is totally my hang-up, but just a logical fallacy of mine. But whenever I think about Australia, in my mind, the beginning of Australia was when they dropped all these prisoners off and created this prison experiment. But in reality, there are all these Aboriginal tribes that lived there forever. Digging through some of these videos and stuff, I've realized just how extensive the history is in Australia, and it's just blowing my mind.
Common sense is at an all-time low, and denial is enough. That's why I'm going to present you with the facts and expect you to do the heavy lifting with your critical thinking. First and foremost, the Mississippi River is the true Nile. In Isaiah 11:15, it says, "And the Lord shall utterly destroy the tongue of the Egyptian sea, and with his mighty wind shall he shake his hand over the river, and shall smite it in the 7 streams, and make men go over dry shod." That's what it says. The Nile does not do this. But you know what does? The Mississippi. Second point, the Mississippi still runs through the ancient cities that it ran through in the beginning of time: Thebes, Cairo, and Memphis. You have been made to believe that we named our cities after modern-day Egypt, when in fact that is not true. Modern-day Egypt named its cities after our cities in ancient America, which is also ancient Egypt. And before this video gets too long, I'm just gonna add in a final point. Did you know that the Americas have more pyramids than the entire planet combined?
Evidence that the Americas are the true and original ancient Egypt. I wouldn't say that I've heard enough to convince me that that's reality, but I've heard enough to make me start questioning things. And one of the things that I can't help but think about is, if this is true, then there has to be people that are aware of it. There has to be somebody that knows the truth. If there's a cover-up, there's somebody that knows the truth. And if those people eventually pass on, as everyone inevitably does, we'll eventually lose those truths, and all we'll have is the lie. And that's why it's so important for us to do all this digging.
If you don't know what is about to happen, you are definitely going to want to watch this video right now. Make sure you share with a friend, because they don't want to miss this. So of course, there's been a lot happening in space the last few weeks and months, like it's just insane. Weird planets, potential signs of other life. We had the Strawberry Moon event a couple of weeks ago, and now this, which is literally insane. This has been all over the news sources, and people are saying how rare this really is. Basically, what is happening is a super rare supernova explosion. Now, this is apparently going to be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, as supernova explosions happen roughly every 80 years. But one this close to Earth hasn't happened for over 3,000, so doubt you're going to be around for the next one, mate. But due to how close it is, apparently it is just going to be incredible to see, and as I say, a literal once-in-a-lifetime experience. And you'll be able to see it the clearest in Florida, but across the US and in the UK and worldwide as well, I'm pretty sure. But the one problem is we don't know exactly a date of when it's going to happen. But what they've said is that it is going to happen anywhere from now until September, so keep our eyes peeled. I will keep you updated.
So I just threw this in here because it's the first that I've heard about it, and it sounds absolutely fascinating, and I can't wait to see it.
We want to see what people saw in 1976. Many people said they saw something one winter night in Lincoln County, but Mona Stafford is the only woman left to say she experienced it.
Oh, it's the most scariest, terrifying thing I've ever seen in my life.
January 6, 1976 in Stafford, Mona Stafford was turning 36. Mona, along with Louise Smith and Elaine Thomas, planned a simple celebration. Labeled by UFO researchers as possibly the most fact-rooted abduction case on record, the incident begins here at what was once Redwood Restaurant.
Everything was going on a different direction from where I started.
Past 11, the birthday party was over. With Louise driving the Chevy Nova, the three women headed down Route 78, a narrow, winding road under a cold, clear sky.
I just seen this light coming down.
An intense red glow heading toward their car, inching closer and closer, until Mona says the object stopped and hovered next to the right side of the car. She says it was a bluish-white dome.
I said, "Low, step on the gas, let's get out of here." And I looked down, I said, "Man, you're going 85 miles an hour." She just picked her feet up some more, not touching it, but touching the pedal.
And it's here the women say that their car finally stopped after going nearly 85 miles per hour. But the car didn't stop entirely. In fact, they say it backed up, heading towards a very dark area, an unknown farm to all three of the women. What happened after that forever is written in UFO history.
It pulled us up. It just, that light just pulled us, sucked us up in it.
These drawings describe what each woman says happened next. For Louise, the gray-hooded masked creatures kept her arms from moving. For Elaine, her throat throbbing from something around her neck. For Mona, she lay on a table being observed. All three women say they were burned.
Went to my family doctor, and that's when he said, yes, I've had serious radiation.
Their story was the talk of the town and eventually the talk of UFO researchers. Seeking an explanation, the women decided they'd only share it with a psychologist, someone to help explain this strange event. To help unravel this mystery, the National Enquirer arranged for psychologist Leo Sprinkle to investigate the abduction story. Regressive hypnosis at the Brown Motel in Casey County took the women back to the strange darkness. A Lexington police detective gave Mona, Louise, and Elaine polygraph tests. After the session, everyone involved found the women to be truthful.
It's in my eyes when I close my eyes.
While the hypnosis helped the women, it did not explain why they could not fit the unexplained experience in their natural lives. Over the years, Mona Stafford wanted to talk about what happened, but Elaine and Louise didn't like to. And when they passed away, Mona was left to ponder alone.
So this is an old UFO abduction story that someone recently brought to my attention and told me to start digging in. It's considered by many to be the most detailed alien abduction case that exists. I plan to do some digging, and hopefully I'll have a more detailed breakdown on it soon.
You know how to spend $31 million a year in salary, and you can't figure out how to make up a $567 a month shortfall. This is a budget problem you cannot solve. You're an expert on financial statements, and you run a $2.6 trillion bank. I know you're good at numbers, and you've shared lots of opinions recently about how the U.S. should budget its resources, how families should budget their resources, and so I'd like to ask for your help on a problem. I went to monster.com and I found a job in my hometown of Irvine at JP Morgan Chase. It pays $16.50 an hour. And so I wondered if I could, if you'd indulge me, when you do the math on this and you do the $16.50 out at 40 hours a week for 52 weeks a year, it comes out to an income of $35,070. Now this bank teller, her name is Patricia. She has one child who's 6 years old. She claims the one dependent after tax. She has $29,100. We divide that by 12. She rents a one-bedroom apartment. She and her daughter sleep together in the same room. In Irvine, California, that average one-bedroom apartment is going to be $1,600. She spends $100 on utilities. Take away the $1,700 and she has net $725. She's like me. She drives a 2008 minivan and has gas. $400 for car, expenses, and gas. Net $325. The Department of Agriculture says a low-cost food budget, that is ramen noodles, a low food budget is $400. That leaves her $77 in the red. She has a Cricket cell phone, the cheapest cell phone she can get for $40. She's in the red $117 a month.
Seeing stuff like this, I just don't know how people are surviving. I don't even think her numbers are an accurate representation of what people are dealing with. She says that this lady spends $100 a month on utilities. I don't know anyone that spends less than $300 a month on utilities, and that's if you're lucky.
Y'all, the Delce Base is real. Delce, whatever. The secret military base in New Mexico, you know, the alien base. The one this video was about. Yeah, you see that? It's hidden. And if you click on it, that's what it says. Sensitive content. What? This has never happened to me before. Like, the video's still there. You can still watch it. Originally, they tried to take it down, but I appealed it and they brought it back. But now it's hidden. You're telling me, out of the hundreds of stories I've told, scary stories, gruesome stories, detailed stories, none of them have ever been hidden except this one? Except this one right here? Is it so sensitive because it's real? Listen, the New Mexico people already told me it's real. And the whistleblowers told us it's real. But this little hidden icon, it makes me even more convinced it's real. And now I'm scared. Like, what do you mean it's real? That's terrifying. Why is it always the most terrifying legends that are probably true? I mean, I already believed it before, okay? But now? I'm convinced. That's where all the missing people are, huh? What the
Boy, that does look suspicious, don't it? I've seen a lot of really gross and grotesque things on TikTok while I'm looking for these clips, and it's awful suspicious, the videos that they choose to hide and the ones that they allow to be seen by anybody.
This book talks about the lighthouses. Here you guys go. This is a great one. And then that's another lighthouse. And let me show you what connects to the lighthouse. The blimps. These were mooring masts. That's what they were originally called. And they would connect to the blimps. And so when people wanted to travel around, you know those lighthouses, how they're out in the middle of the ocean? That's how they were traveling around. They could connect up right to that. And the top of this can gather a static charge, so it can produce energy, and you could connect your little Zeppelin or blimp right to that. Because when you start to think about lighthouses, how they're just out in the middle of the ocean, and somebody built that, this is a really good one. Somebody was just out there, they're like, oh, we're gonna put the stone thing, we're gonna float it, we're gonna put an underground entrance in there, maybe a couple more rooms. You could go down deep into the ocean. You're building into the ocean now. This is kind of like when you go out in Spain and you go to Ibiza Most people don't know that Ibiza has tunnels underneath it.
This guy is digging up enough information on blimps that he can make a full-length documentary on it. This is amazing. Even our lighthouses are not what we're told they are.
I'm not in any way interested in politics, so just understand that this is not in any way politically motivated. Something has caught my eye, though, in regards to the series of photos in this video, especially the last two. Now people are claiming these are gallows, and I thought it's just a stretch, but when I saw the last two photos, it actually does have me wondering why. Because they are testing man-sized dummies at hanging length. Is the world about to witness something medieval? Or is this easily explained? Let me know please, because I'd really like to know if this really is what it looks like and is claimed to be.
So I don't know for certain because I've never seen these photos before, but if I was a betting man and I had to put money on it, I would say that's probably a set piece for a film. Possibly that Civil War movie, but I don't know for sure if that's in the Civil War movie because I didn't watch it. I don't watch government propaganda.
Australia are creating man-made clouds to cool the ocean.
Yeah.
Take a look.
There's 2 whole shipping containers with big air compressors in them to generate the compressed air to blast the plume. And so what we see is that the plume actually gets sucked right up into the clouds. Oh, wow. We don't have. Well, that's good, right? Yeah, it's terrific. It makes life a lot easier. And in fact, it means we're able to revise a lot of our sort of calculations as to how many stations we need and how efficient it would be. Per second, one of those machines, we've got 2 now, but for one, it produces about 1,000 billion droplets a second from about a shot glass of water a second, 30 mils. Okay. You're smiling. I mean, is he just making stories?
This is the stuff of science fiction.
You've got all these countries in the world who think that global warming is our biggest problem, and they're actively trying to do something to fix it. So you've got Australia running their own tests and stuff, trying to cool the ocean. You've got the United States cloud seeding and doing all this stuff to try to cool the planet. You've got Antarctica, where they're actually trying to create more ice to help cool the planet. Are all these countries communicating with each other so that we don't overcorrect and freeze everything? Because it seems like everyone's throwing a Hail Mary pass and no one's stopping and thinking about the consequences.
Recently, the American government released a preliminary study saying that processed foods is actually not a contributor to obesity. And I thought that was hilarious. And I go back to your research showing just how much corporate influence there is in government dietary recommendations. So I throw that out with the trash now. So who do we trust?
I get asked that all the time. So take responsibility for your own health and for really finding out not only what's best for you, but the truth behind some of these studies that's being quoted. Look at who funded it, decide what influence that might have, look at the conclusions and look at some of the data to see if it matches. If you don't have time to do that, by the way, there are other people that do it for you.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. Processed food is now good for you. This is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard of in my life. Everybody knows that processed food is bad for you. We eat it anyway because of its convenience, but we all know it's bad for you. We all know that it does nothing but wreck your body. And now the government's coming out and saying that you should be eating processed foods, that it's not causing any negative health effects. This is the most clear-cut example I've ever seen of government propaganda. They're flat out lying to you about something you know to be not true, and they want you to believe it. But guys and gals, I'm going to go ahead and end the video right there. I appreciate you watching these clips with me today, and I hope you come back and watch some more with me tomorrow. I'll be here with another video just like always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. I really appreciate it. It really helps me out. And it would also really help me out if you went to www.barry-stepp.com and bought yourself a shirt or a hat to help me support the channel. Thank you to all those who have already. I greatly appreciate it. And I want to say real quick before I end this that if you've noticed that today's video was a little bit different feeling than they usually are, it's because I'm actively trying to do a little less commentary and let the videos speak for themselves. I get a lot of comments saying that I talk too much. I can't help it. I do that in real life. That's just who I am. So I'm trying to get a little bit better and try to be a little bit more concise with my commentary. Y'all get down in the comment section and let me know what you thought about today's video. Do you think it's a step in the right direction, or do I need to go back to the drawing board? But everybody, thanks for hanging out with me today. I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Everybody have a great, safe, fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.